Championship season couldn't quite possibly be kicked off with any better game than the game that is on Friday night to open up the Championship. Birmingham City versus Ipswich is the perfect advert and the perfect match to have all eyes on the Championship on that Friday night. You've got Birmingham City, a newly promoted team from League One, made so many signings and have genuine aspirations to get themselves to the Premier League this season or very, very soon. Up against an Ipswich Town side, which obviously just got relegated from the Premier League, spent £150 million in the Premier League, and are the heavy favourites going into the whole of the Championship season. And a lot of people saying they should be running away with it in terms of the title this season. So much is on this game, and it really is a statement game for both sides, in my opinion, in the Championship with all eyes on it. If you're a Championship fan, if you're a Birmingham City fan and an Ipswich Town fan, do hit subscribe on this channel. We do daily Championship content, so if you wouldn't mind helping me out and hitting that subscribe button, it'd be very greatly appreciated. And as I say, this is a statement game for both sides, a real opportunity to stamp their authority on the Championship season early doors and show that they're not messing about. Of course, from a Birmingham City perspective, just being promoted from League One, but so many signings with a squad that was already well too good for League One. And winning this game for Birmingham City does just show that they're not here to mess about. They've been moving serious in the transfer market, and as I say, beating the team that is the early favourites going into the Championship is quite possibly the perfect way to announce yourselves in the Championship and get people talking about it and backing up the hype that Birmingham City have behind them right now. From an Ipswich Town perspective, it's a chance to prove that they are going to be the number one side in the division. We're expecting Birmingham to be up there, in my opinion anyway. I think they'll be up there come the end of the season. The bookies agree with me on that based on Championship predictions from the bookies. Ipswich have a chance to kind of shut Birmingham fans up and show that they are the top dogs in the Championship. So it really is a game that's got a lot riding on it from both teams' perspective. Right now, Birmingham City are actually the favourites going into the match. On the odds here, Birmingham City just about edging it as favourites, Ipswich then, and then a draw. It's all pretty close because I think it is going to be a very, very difficult match to predict. But of course, looking at Birmingham City, if we just go on their last match that they did play, they played against Nottingham Forest, perfect way to end pre-season with a 1-0 win and a Jay Stansfield goal, which is really nice. And of course, Birmingham have such a strong squad, like the bench and the squad that I was looking at before. So much quality on the bench, and it shows for me. This is why I really think Birmingham will be up there come the end of the season. You look at the players that have been coming off the bench here. You got Cashin on the bench, Williamson as well, Kyogo they just bought for £10 million or close to £10 million on the bench, all coming on with a team that's already well good enough in the Championship already. And a lot of these players that even got promoted from League One, as I say, are already at Championship level, and some of them could even be top Championship players come the end of this season, definitely. With the money that they've spent and the signings that they've made, Birmingham will be going into this with full confidence. And it's also worth saying as well, with the game being at St Andrews, you've got a crowd at Birmingham City that's obviously a sellout crowd with so much hype around the club. First game of the season, under the lights on a Friday night. If you're Ipswich Town, I'm sorry, this is the worst time to play Birmingham City. This is why if Ipswich do go and win this game, it's even bigger of a statement, because first game of the season, I think every single Championship club would probably say, the vast majority of clubs would say, we don't really want to be playing Birmingham at St Andrews on that first game of the season, because there's no doubt that St Andrews will be absolutely rocking. And as I say here, Birmingham City signings that they've made, and I don't even think they're done in the transfer window. I think there's going to be a few more. It looks like they might be bringing in the striker Dutch. I spoke about him previously on the channel. A guy who's got a really good record over in the Bundesliga. He could be coming through the door. It looks like that's quite likely after Ipswich getting Chuba Akpom. I mean, it is the Chuba Akpom derby. We'll start talking about that a little bit later in the video when we get to Ipswich. But yeah, it looks like they're going to be bringing in another striker as well. And I wouldn't be surprised if they bring in another one or two faces come the end of the window. And then, you know, if they're in the mix in January, I really think Birmingham will go again and spend some more money and bring in some more quality players to help bolster their chances of promotion in January if they are in that situation. But as I say, the signings that they've made, I think they've had an unbelievable window so far. I think Cashin's a top signing. They brought in Kyogo as well. And they've also brought in Fujimoto as well. Sorry if I said that wrong, but he looks like he could be a serious player as well. Damari Gray, of course, we know all about him. So many games played in the Premier League. Brightside Samuel, I'm a QPR fan. I remember him at QPR when he was a winger for us. Now he's kind of transitioned back into a fullback now and seems to be ripping it up as a fullback from what I've seen over in Turkey. Did really well over in Turkey. Coming back now to Birmingham, coming back to England. I think he'll be really good this season. I think he can maybe slot over to left back as well if needed. You've also got Ethan Laird at right back as well, which just kind of highlights the quality and depth that Birmingham City have really got in this side. Tommy Doyle as well. I think obviously a lot of people are going to talk about the other transfers, but a loan deal for Tommy Doyle as well is such a top sign. He's played a couple seasons now in the Premier League. Last time he was in the Championship was part of a team that got promoted in Sheffield United. And he's coming now, as I say, a couple of years older, Premier League experience. He'll be a top Championship player this season, I'm expecting. A really good player on the ball, and as I say, he's a player now that is a couple of years older, is definitely ready for kind of ripping it up in the Championship and really controlling games in that midfield for Birmingham City. So as I say, and Phil Newman as well as another player that's been playing in pre-season, done really well over in Germany. A lot of people forget about him because they signed him so early on in the transfer window. Another one there. It's a really good window, and as I say, it looks like they're going to be bringing in another striker, and it wouldn't surprise me if they went ahead and brought in a couple more players come the end of the transfer window as well. And as for Ipswich Town, now, they've had an interesting summer, I think it's fair to say. It looks like they have won the race for Chuba Akpom, but, I mean, if Chuba Akpom features in this game against Birmingham for Ipswich, comes on off the bench or whatever, best know the reception that he's getting is going to be brutal, and best know that he's going to be on the receiving end of a few challenges, I think, from Birmingham City defenders. I feel like they're not going to be taken too kindly to this one, but I think Akpom, obviously it's not ideal, but Birmingham seriously, they're moving like a big club in terms of, they're Chuba Akpom obviously is at the end he's chosen Ipswich. Birmingham straight on it, new striker coming in that duck straight away. Like no messing about. Chuba Akpom might have chosen Ipswich over Birmingham, yes, but at the end of the day they've moved like a big club in terms of they're not messing about, they're not hanging around, they'll bring in somebody else straight away. So the Chuba Akpom derby gives the game an extra bit of spice, which already was a pretty spicy game to begin with. Now Ipswich, as I say, they've had an interesting window. Obviously a lot of players have gone. As players that have been really part of the furniture in terms of Ipswich's back-to-back promotions in Massimo Luongo, who was a key player in both promotions. Sam Morsey as well, of course, club captain. I think it's going to be a massive loss for Ipswich, there's no doubt about it. Cameron Burgess as well, another player that was part of the back-to-back promotions, who obviously would have played a bit in the Premier League as well. And Liam Delap, of course, we know, got a good bit of money for him, to be fair, as well. We don't know what's going to happen with Amari Hutchinson, I don't know. I think Ipswich rejected an offer for him in recent days, but we'll see kind of where his head's at and see if he's featuring in that game as well. As I say, they have lost quite a few players. They have replaced a little bit. I feel like they need to definitely go into the market and sign some more. Obviously, it looks like they're going to be getting Akpom, which I think is a decent acquisition for them. I think they still need definitely more in the centre of the park. It looks like Kayuste's coming back. I was going to say as well, if Kayuste had left as well, would be a bit concerned. But I've said this numerous times now. Now that I've seen Kayuste signing for Ipswich, for me that kind of cements their place in automatic promotion at bare minimum. But I think they should be winning this league altogether. I think Kayuste, him in the Championship, like he was very, very good in the Premier League. I'm shocked, to be honest, that a Premier League club, like a lower down mid-table Premier League club, hasn't snapped him up, because it was a decent price. I think Ipswich got him for, obviously, a loan this season. I think it's like maybe 7 million, if I'm correct, for the loan, for the fee after the loan, which I think is a really good price for Kayuste when you look at the quality that he had in the Premier League. Him coming back is obviously a massive sign if they do get this over the line, which does look quite likely. Don't think he'll feature. He might be on the bench, who knows, for this game against Birmingham, but there's no doubt Kayuste is a top signing for Ipswich. As I say, they've also brought in this guy as well from France, who actually played with Kayuste at Reims. Apparently they played together with each other in central midfield, which just makes it that a little bit more scary, doesn't it? You've got two players that actually know each other now coming into the centre of the park for Ipswich. Also brought in Ash Young with a bit of experience, and Cedric Kipre as well. So I think they've got some decent business in terms of the players that they brought in. I just think the number of players they've brought in isn't enough. They need more central midfielders. I think Jaden Phillips might have got injured. I think he might have got injured his last pre-season game. I'm not too sure on that. Correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, they've lost a lot of players. And they've brought in a few players, but I definitely think they need to do more in the window. But that's not taking anything away from the squad that they've already got, because you look at the quality that's there in that squad. As I say, I'm not sure if Philogene injured. If Philogene's fit, then it's fantastic. But then you've got Sammy Schmodix anyway. You've got Jack Clark. You've got Ogbene, who's going to be like a new signing this season. You've still got Amari Hutchinson, who's still on the books. And as I say, they rejected an offer recently. And you've got so many options in that attacking third. And now adding Chuba Akpom to that is another good striking option. They've got George Hurst at the moment, which is decent, but I think, as I say, they definitely need another one. And Akpom can be that guy who can also slot into that number 10 role as well. Akpom can. He's kind of very versatile in terms of where he can play in the front line, which I think is very beneficial to Kieran McKenna and Ipswich. As I say, I definitely think they need more in the middle of the park. Even with Kayuste, I still think they need another body in the centre of the park. Then you look at the players now that, in the Premier League, yes, he didn't look great. Like, Leif Davis didn't have a great season. I think people were probably expecting more of him in the Premier League last season. Didn't really happen for him. But in the Championship, last time he was in there, he got, 17 assists, if we just quickly have a look. 18 assists in the Championship last season. 2 goals, 18 assists. And, this guy will rip it up again in the Championship. So it's just a completely different ball game. You might look terrible in the Premier League, but the gap's so big that you're gonna show your quality again in the Championship. We've seen that numerous times with teams getting relegated, bar Luton, but everybody else always seems to show their quality. Also, as well, Dara O'Shea was really good last season for Ipswich. I think he'll be top again in the Championship. I think he's their club captain this season as well. As I say, experience with Ashley Young, got Ashley Palmer in goal. That's a squad there that absolutely should be walking the Championship, in my opinion. There's no doubt about it. But as I say, getting back onto the game, as I say, just for them reasons that I've listed for both teams, all the kind of positives that I've said about the teams, it just kind of goes into why this is going to be an unbelievable game to watch and why this is the ultimate and the best Championship fixture I think you could have kicked off the season with. Now, I think both sides in this game, honestly speaking, I mean, obviously I don't know, I'm not a fan, if you let me know in the comments, but I think both sides will be relatively happy with a point. I don't think they'll be angry with a point at all. I think it's going to be a really highly fought contest, and I think a point for both sides kind of just shows that they could both be at the top of the league come the end of the season. They're both two top teams. So I think a point wouldn't be a bad result. But I think Birmingham will be really wanting to get that win, especially in front of the home crowd on the first game of the season. I feel like Birmingham are going to be going for the win, definitely. But as I say, I don't think they'll be mad with a point. I think Ipswich, as I say, from an Ipswich perspective, going away to Birmingham first game of the season, I think it's obviously a very tough place to go, especially on the first game with the atmosphere being rocking on a Friday night. I think they'd be quite happy taking a point in the first game of the season and getting out of there and going again with their future games in the season. But if I was to put a prediction on it, I said it in my predictions yesterday, I'm going to have to stick with it. I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw. I feel like Birmingham will start quick, take the lead, and Ipswich will find their way back into it. And I think a draw, both sides, I say, won't be too angry with a draw. And I think it'll be good. I think they'll probably take positive for it and then go into the next games and the future games of the season. And who knows, next time these two meet later on in the season, it might be a huge game at the top of the table with both teams battling for automatic promotion. Who knows? You never know what could happen in the Championship. It is the most unpredictable league. So you can't really be thinking too far ahead. But I think, as I say, in this game, I think it'll be a really close game. I think it'll be a really highly fought contest. And I'm absolutely buzzing to watch. I think it'll be an excellent game to watch. And it'll be so interesting to see how both teams kind of set up and what lineups, both teams end up playing in this match. So let me know if you're a Birmingham Ipswich fan. Let me know your thoughts on the game and your score prediction in the comments. I'll be very interested to get your thoughts. Drop a like if you did enjoy the video. It takes 1 second to drop a like. It'd be very greatly appreciated. Subscribe to the channel as well. It takes 1 second also to subscribe. If you watch this point, you may as well hit that subscribe button. If you're a Birmingham Ipswich fan, do hit that subscribe button. It'd be very greatly appreciated. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.